What's up guys, Slickshot Games here, and today we are going to do a official ranking of all the main CS2 maps. A couple from CSGO, obviously these go from game to game, some classic maps, but these are the main ones that are in CS2 right now, and I'm going to be going through these and ranking them between S and D. S being top of the top, best map, and D being, well, the map's trash, and I don't want to play it. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. Alright, first off, we're looking at Office. I am a big fan of Office as a meme map. I mean, this map, when it comes up on the competitive queue, not in Premiere, but, you know, when it comes up in that other mode, the other competitive mode, it's always a hoot and a half in the Discord call when this map comes up. Total utter meme. It's a hostage map that obviously takes place in an office building, and basically it's snowing outside. I really like the theming of this one. There's no map in the game that's anywhere close to the sort of aura and theme that Office has. It's at night, it's snowing, it has sort of a mysterious vibe to it as a hostage situation is going on. And as I'm going to repeat later in this video, I don't think hostage maps work nearly as well as the regular defuse map. As you can imagine, I mean, the main Counter-Strike game is based off of the search and destroy game mode, basically. So, yeah, this hostage sort of situation map that they have, only two in the game, honestly, don't really work as well. But I think Office, as fun as it can be and as memeable as it is, as a map, it has a lot of problems. Obviously, way too T-sided, since all the hostage maps they're basically just sitting on the hostage and can hide behind the hostage, and there's so much you have to get through as a CT to actually get to the hostage, and not only that, but you have to actually pick them up and take them all the way back to spawn. So, alright, off the bat, there's already way too much emphasis on the T side. The CTs can win, obviously it depends on the players, but yeah, as a map, just way too one-sided. And then on top of that, I think the whole mid section with the mid hallway, long hall, it's extremely awkward. I think there's way too many choke points. Obviously, it's accurate because it takes place in a little office building, but everything feels so awkward outside of it, and just actually having to run to the actual spawn point when you have the hostage also feels very awkward. So just honestly doesn't feel that great to play. It's very choky and stuff like that. But honestly, if it were up to me in my heart, I want to give it an S. But yeah, Office is a C+, I feel. It's fun, but yeah, I can't put it any higher than that. Next up, we have Ancient. This was one of the newer maps. So great theming. Really like this sort of Aztec style that they went with, sort of like extremely old ruin temple sort of thing going on here. But personally, I think that this map, I'm not a fan of it. I feel like every time I play it, I don't really like it that much. I think that the B site is probably the worst site on the map. A is a lot better. I feel it's a lot easier to hold. And while I see the pros playing it a lot, then this is actually in the Premier game mode. This is actually in the active duty map list. I don't think that it deserves to be there. Again, I admire the actual theming of it. It looks nice, but yeah, as the actual gameplay of it, I find it extremely awkward. I think that the whole layout of the two sites getting to the two sites feels very disconjointed in a way. I think mid is pretty decent. I think it's your classic mid, and I think that it's very important to control mid on the map. But yeah, I don't know what it is. This map never really spoke to me that much, and I may be biased because every time I play it, I don't really have a great experience on it. But yeah, Ancient to me goes in the D tier. Next, we have Anubis. So I actually did a map review on this map before it came out. Weird flex, I know, but I actually like Anubis. I haven't had the privilege of being able to play it in Premiere too much. I think I've played it 1 or 2 matches overall, but every time it always gets vetoed and banned, and it looks like in the pro scene this happens a lot too. It's sort of an underplayed map, to be honest. People usually don't want to play it, I guess. I think it's pretty good. It has sort of the same sort of look as Mirage, even though this is more an Egyptian sort of vibe to it. I like this map. I think that mid is a little strange, but pretty straightforward. I think both the sites are also very straightforward. And I do like that it gives you several different avenues to at least attack the A site, and you can do some flanks and stuff. I think it's a very simple map. I think that, I guess people don't really like, navigating the different rotations and stuff like that, but this is kind of a weird one because I kind of like it, but I can see why people might not like this one and prefer to play any other map in the game. For me, it's pretty decent, so I'm going to be putting it up B, just straight B, right in the middle. Next we have Dust 2, one of the most popular maps in all of Counter-Strike history. A absolute classic Dust 2. So many memes, so many moments have occurred on this map. And to me, it's one of the most foundational, most well-known maps in the game in general. I think that if you've ever played any kind of computer game or any kind of PC first-person shooter, you know Dust 2 like the back of your hand. It's so well balanced, this map, honestly. Now, what I've always had a problem with, and I still have a problem with, is mid-doors. I think the whole idea that you can actually tag people or kill people right off the bat that are trying to get to B, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Granted, it works both ways. You can still get a pick, if you're a CT, but yeah, just being tagged while you're going to B immediately or being killed with an op is not a fun experience. It's never been. I think that they should just have those doors as metal, they can't shoot through them, and just look at actual knowledge, getting knowledge how many people crossed. It's the only map in the game that you have that kind of information. You can literally physically see how many people are crossing to a certain site. So if 3 cross, you can go A. I mean, it's a little unfair, to be honest. It's never impacted. With all that being said, though, obviously if you are peeking, you are going to take a risk in that sense, because I've died many times suicide. Obviously, that's why they call that suicide as well. But yeah, I mean, having to use utility to cross is a little lame in my opinion. But honestly, it's such a well-made map. Very simple, but it works so well. It's mid, B, A, and everything works so well. And I think that you can actually really navigate the map, and you can really see how using brain power and working with your team. I mean, this could go for any map, but it works so well with Dust 2. I could see why people maybe don't like this map as much in a competitive sense. I don't see it played a lot in the pro scene. I think it gets banned a lot. It's a very skirmy map, but I'm always going to be a Dust 2 fan, so that goes up in the S tier. Next, we have another excellent map, one of my favorites, Inferno. This is also a vintage staple of all Counter-Strike games, all the way from 1.6 all the way till now. We have Inferno in the game. It's had different iterations. There's been a lot of different changes. Mid used to look a lot different in Source and even in Go, but they did open it up a bit. They did change car and all that on the B site, and a couple of things on the A site were changed as well. So little changes here and there, but ultimately the map is the same sort of layout. And I can remember more epic moments, pro moments in this map more than any other. There's been awesome moments in all the maps, but I don't know, for some reason Inferno really has a lot of awesome clutch moments and stuff like that. This map can be very annoying to play when you're getting dumpstered. It can feel very CT-sided if they're coordinated and working very well and taking map control. It can feel like you don't have anywhere to go, and that you're on the back end of it the entire time. Obviously, that could go for any map, but in this map in particular, I feel like when you're getting choked out, that's it. But ultimately, I really love the theming of it. I really love the layout. There's a lot of cool things you can do, and I like that A allows you to navigate 2 ways as well, and then the B site is way more of a choke point going one way, but there's so many different ways you can actually sit on the B site. But I really like this map. It's really good, and it's a classic map. Inferno goes in the A tier. Next, we have Mirage. So Mirage is probably my most played map, hands down. Every time I launch Premiere, basically, it's either going to be Mirage or Dust 2. So, and Mirage, it's a staple. Again, this map wasn't as popular when this game came out, but slowly it became probably one of the most popular and most infamous maps out there. I know a lot of people actually are tired of playing this map. I am a little tired of it only because I play it so much. You know, every time I launch Premiere, it goes to Mirage or Dust 2. One of those, and it's usually Mirage, and it's just every single time. But honestly, love this map. Not really much of criticism I could say. This I kind of look at as the older brother of Dust 2. A lot of cool ways to use the map. This one, it has one of the best mids in the entire game. I feel when you're thinking of mid, that's the mid you're talking about next to Dust 2. Just amazing use of the window short connector. So many different avenues for both the CTs and the Ts to use. And both sites are very well constructed in a way that you can actually attack them from various angles while still being able to hide in various angles and just hold down the fort against the Ts. So I really like this map. Excellent layout and all that. I really don't have much criticisms for this one, to be honest. I can't think of anything. It works so well, and so much cool smokes you can do all the way from T spawn and CT spawn. So yeah, love this one. Mirage goes up in the S tier next to Dust 2. Alright, next we have Nuke, the CS2 version of Nuke, if you will, which is completely different from the other iterations. This is another classic map that's been in the game since the beginning, since the original Counter-Strikes, and it returns in CS2. I've only played this Nuke a couple of times in Premiere, and obviously I've played it a lot in Go. I've played this map many times over the course of the last few years, and I think that they've done some great changes to it. I feel like what they did with the outside area was very good, and the whole secret vent area, and giving it a lot more room and a lot more space to work with. I appreciate that, and I think they did a good job on that. But this map is always going to be really annoying for me to play, to be honest. I feel like I have a good grasp of the map. I usually do good on a personal level, I feel like, even though I don't like playing this map. And it's just not a very enjoyable map. It feels, if you're not on the CT side, T side is still to this day. And granted, they made it a little better, but still to this day, it is still a CT-sided map. It's still hard to be able to navigate around there, and it just feels like you're always running into some kind of choke point. If you go down vent, it's dicey. It gets real dicey. Coming at A is always awkward. B is a lot easier, I feel, to get in there, but A, you have to either run out Hut or run out Squeaky if you're not doing an outside play, and those two are just absolute killers to get out of, both of them. Little mini choke point out of literally a door. You know, you could use your smokes and stuff like that, but you're so prone to getting spammed down, and it always feels terrible running out on the A site. Just even with smokes and flashes, it's just rough. It's a brutal map in my opinion. And B is a little better. At least you can use Secret and navigate down there slowly, and ramp. It's a lot more space, but yeah, just a very sort of awkward map to navigate in my opinion. But I guess they made it better, honestly. It looks like I'm dogging on the map. I don't hate it, but I don't particularly like it that much. So I'm going to be putting it up at, I'm going to put B-, because I do respect this map actually. Just, it's a little annoying to play on, but B-, bordering on a C. Alright, next we have Overpass. So this map is very unique in the sense that the CTs actually just straight spawn on the A site. And I've never been a huge fan of this map. There's been a lot of cool pro moments as well. I'm kind of factoring that in as well. But yeah, I don't know. This one has, granted, this one has really cool theming. I really do enjoy this sort of highway, like graffiti, underground sort of thing that they have going on. Really cool concept, but I just don't really like this map that much. I feel like B is extremely awkward. A is better to hit. B is just holding B more so than actually attacking B is just a pain, honestly. There's so much different things and so much space to cover in the sewer area. And them coming out short and then coming out graffiti, that's coming out the two ways. It just feels a little awkward sometimes, and it seems just there's only like 2 places you can stand on the site, and one of them's super obvious behind a box. So yeah, I don't know. It's just this whole navigating the different levels of it. Yes, it can be kind of cool and you can get a lot of kills that way, but also it just feels a little awkward to me. And usually Heaven's smoked off, and it's very obvious they're not going to peek Heaven if they're smart players. So yeah, B is just very awkward. A is a little better, but even then, you know, holding A is kind of annoying as well. I am not a huge fan of this map, to be honest. I find it hard to sort of navigate for some reason. Cool theming, not the worst map, but yeah, Overpass for me goes in the C tier. Next we have Vertigo. So Vertigo was in Counter-Strike Go, and honestly, this map had a huge major rehaul in Counter-Strike 2, or even in Counter-Strike Go, if I'm not mistaken. They totally changed Vertigo, if I'm not mistaken on that. But yeah, this map is one of a kind. There's no other map. This is the one that takes place in a high-rise, basically. You're all the way at the top of a building, construction site sort of thing going on. So cool theming. No other map is like this where you're on top of a building, besides maybe Agency. But yeah, this one you can literally jump off the map and die. That's not really something you see in many of them. You can't really suicide in a lot of these, but in this one you can. You could just literally jump off the map and fall to your death. And they actually have little things where you can jump, try to do a strafe jump, and if you fail, you're gonna die. And they used to have this thing in Counter-Strike Go, in the original Vertigo, where you can literally, if you hit it pixel perfect, you could jump from CT spawn. You could actually drop down to T-spawn as soon as the round started. It was hilarious, extremely hard to pull off. But and then sometimes teams would queue up, 5 people would queue up and just fall off the map the whole game. They were trying to D-rank, I guess. And you could still do that in this one too. But yeah, this is one of those rare maps where you can actually jump off the map and die. But the theming's really cool. Again, this one's a little awkward. This one has a lot to do with levels. Both maps are a lot of going. You have to go up ramp. To get the A side, you got to go up ramp. To get the B side, you got to go upstairs and then go up another flight of stairs. So it's a lot of like looking up vertical and navigating the ramp sections that make it a little awkward. I don't mind this map, but it is it feels very convoluted. And mid is extremely present in the map, if you will. You know, a lot of people sometimes try to do backstab through mid and stuff like that. It's very open to the T side to get there. But yeah, just a bit of an awkward map. They did make it better. I feel like this new version was a lot better than the original Vertigo. It always does have a place in my heart, the original Vertigo, for some reason. But yeah, I think that this map, as memeable as it is, it's okay. I also put it at the B- next to Nuke. Not horrible, but, you know, not great. I'm going to skip Assault. I'm not sure about that one. Edin, I'll quickly talk about. That's one of the newer maps. Yeah, this map, you know, wasn't a huge fan. I played it once, and it kind of cool theming, to be honest, but yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It seemed very awkward navigating mid. I think that the getting to A site's extremely weird. It's actually just a street, and there's a lot going on, too much to look at. Cool theming, I just not my cup of tea at all. Gonna be putting Edin in the D tier. I just wasn't a fan of it. Alright, next we have Train, the new iteration of Train, Counter-Strike 2 version of Train. So again, another classic map. I've never been a huge Train person. This map feels so grindy to play on. A lot of cool moments have occurred on this, but I'm just not a huge fan of maps that are very choke pointy. As you can see, Nuke in particular, stuff like that, Office. It feels tight. There's no like room to work with. It's just very tight, and Train is exactly that. All the hallways and stuff like that. Ivy, and Ivy's okay actually. Ivy's okay, but Pop Dog, the actual jumping down of it, they got rid of that completely, and now you literally just walk upstairs. But yeah, that used to be a killer of a map, but still, and they opened it up a bit. I still don't personally like the map, but they did make it better by getting rid of some of the choke points. It's not as bad as it was before. Yeah, they closed down Ivy a bit. They put it a little opening, 2 little openings, as opposed to being able to see everything. You can only see part of it. And B-site, yeah, it's completely different with the stairs and stuff like that. But the B-site's pretty much the same before, and they got rid of some of the terrain. They made the terrain smaller so you could see better, which I like. But yeah, for me, it's just, for me, CT side's so awkward to actually navigate on this map for some reason. I find it so hard to actually, and same with the T's, getting in there and defending. If I feel like that doesn't feel good, or I don't know where to stand, I mean, it could be a user issue, by the way, but if I don't know where to stand or anything like that, I automatically just don't like the map as much. But yeah, this new iteration, not the greatest map to be working on. They need to release Cache, bring back Cobble, stuff like that. I mean, those maps are better, I feel, than Train. Train is cool, maybe in the pro scene, but yeah, I don't know. Not my preferred map, but it's going in the C tier. Not nearly as bad, but yeah, C tier. And then finally, Italy, the last meme map, another hostage map. I'm guessing you can't guess where this map takes place. Yeah, of course, Italy. Yeah, not a fan of this one either. Hostage map, not a great map. Again, hostage modes aren't nearly as good as the search and destroy modes, and this one has way too much space going on with it. I feel like you gotta run a mile, and the enemy can see you a mile away, basically, to get to the hostage points. Extremely awkward having to go down to the basement back practically to get one of the hostages, and then going up a little building. It's weird. It's weird in every way. Again, also choke points up the wazoo on this map, as you have to kind of go through the alleyways and stuff. And yeah, not a fan of this map at all. Actually, this one's worse than Office. I'm gonna put Italy down at the D tier. I know. I'm sorry. Had to do it. As much as both of these are memeable, have to put it down here. I want to push Office back to S, but no. And yeah, Basalt, I played a deathmatch. I didn't actually play a match of it, so I can't really say. But here's my ranking of all the CS2 maps. Let me know below if you agree or disagree. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, save to date with the latest videos just like this one.